Hello everyone, it's me, RTRadical. As you can tell from the video title and subsequent thumbnail that naturally comes with all my videos, I mean, I like to think I put a lot of effort into these things. This video is essentially an experiment of the freelance services platform known as Fiverr. So I found 3 different artists on the platform, and all of them offered 3 completely different price points, and one of them was made in a completely different medium that you've never seen on this channel before. I'm going to save that listing for last because it is the most expensive one I purchased, and it shows. The results were amazing. I gave all 3 artists the same premise: to create the channel mascot and main character of RTRadical Crusaders, RT. I gave reference images of him, and I told them to give me their best work just using the character design, and I told them essentially that they could do whatever they pleased. So I gave them that to work with, but just keep in mind that the price points ultimately depended on how much of RT they were going to create. The most expensive listing differs from the other 2 in this respect because I didn't want to go too overboard with spending my money. Yeah, I mean, you only get paid so much, right? So, without any further delay, let's get into the first listing of this video. Alright, so getting into things, we're starting off with the first Fiverr order. The artist that I commissioned for this order was Fiverr artist Hachichimitsu. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but this order was $10, and I placed the order on August 12th, 2021. I believe she had 5 days to complete the order, but she completed it 4 days after, on August 16th. The first item she sent me was this rough sketch of RT. I really like the pose and everything. She did a fantastic job adapting him into her art style. He's clearly very recognizable, and as you'll notice, she has a more chibi art style, and I wanted to see, I was very anxious to see what she'd do in adapting this art style, but she did a great job. I love to see different iterations of my characters drawn by other people. So I'm very grateful for the way that this turned out, and she communicated very well with me. She wanted to make sure that I got the best feedback possible. So this was just a very rough sketch. As you can tell, it's very streaky and stuff, but this isn't the cleaned up line art. She wanted to clarify that everything was as it should be, and the only thing that needed to be changed were the gem details on the boots and the way the boots cut off. So overall, this was a good sign of things to come. I was very excited to see where this order would go from here. Next up, we have the cleaned up line art. As you can see, the eyebrows and head shape changed. Everything was just overall more refined. I will say I did like the initial head shape of the first initial rough sketch, but I like the size better. It seems like a bit smaller. I mean, I know it's a chibi art style, so a bigger head is usually how that goes, but yeah, the lines are much cleaner. She contributed the details that I asked for, and we just had to wait and see how the final rendered illustration would turn out. Speaking of which, here that is, and I've got to say, I'm very impressed. Me personally, I've always struggled with rendering in my own digital art projects, so clearly a lot of attention to detail went into this, and for $10, I'd say that this order was a pretty good bargain. You really get a bang for your buck here. I mean, she's a great artist, very communicative of the order itself. And so, with that being said, you can't go wrong with this order. I'll be putting the listing itself on screen, and here's her Twitter. 5-star rating, no complaints. Okay, so for the second listing I'm going to be reviewing, I'm going to diverge from the order that I ordered and received these from, because as I've already explained to you, I want you to see the most expensive and high quality listing last. So, as for this listing, I ordered this listing from the Fiverr artist Neptune_Medusa, and this listing was $20, and I ordered it on August 16th, 2021, and I received it on August 21st. So, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. Alright, so the first item I was presented with by Neptune was this line art with a single flat base color on it. There's a lot I like about this. I really like the clothing folds provided, and it's just in general, the line art is very fine, very thin, a lot thinner than even my own line art. It almost looks like there's no line art at all, and this is just the flat base colors, but it really looks like it's really hard to tell if there's any line art there at all, and I really like that. I strive for thinner and thinner line art myself. Another thing I really like the way the hair flows, and I really like the clothing folds. They're just beautiful, and I mean, you can see a bit of RT's figure underneath the clothing folds, which I really appreciate. He's very shrimpy and skinny as of right now with his current character design, and I like that aura that spirals around the back of him into his hand. I was blown away by that, and it's very eye-catching, and I mean, this silhouette was very striking to me because of that aura. I mean, I didn't have anything other to say than it was perfect, and I was just blown away with the quality of this drawing. So next up we have the final render of this illustration. I must say, I'm a big fan of this as well. I say that this is definitely really well done, really professionally well done, and I mean, I like how the colors are more desaturated. I don't know if they were sampled from the references that I gave, because if you notice the gem bits on the shoulders and the knee pads and the eyes, it's all like grayish, and I really like that, by the way. That's not a complaint in the slightest. I love this color palette, and my only nitpick, I don't know if this was intentional or it was forgotten. But if you look at the eyes, you'll notice that the whites of the eyes haven't been rendered in. But I mean, it still looks amazing. I mean, I know that some characters like Krillin from the Dragon Ball franchise, that's stylized. From the previews of Neptune Medusa's listing, I didn't see any illustrations that were like this, that included the whites of the eyes. But other than that, I didn't want to send that for a revision. I don't know if you get charged more for revisions, and I wanted to take it as it is so I could just present it in the video. But I mean, to be honest, I like it. It looks like a different take of RT, even with the whites of the eyes not present. So I must say that I feel like this artwork here was very fine and very fine-tuned, I guess you could say. And I'm blown away. I'm truly blown away. There's one thing I want to say to Neptune Medusa is, I feel like your artwork is just such a high quality that it should be priced higher, if anything. $20 is a very generous price, and you'll get an amazing result if you order from this seller. So here's the listing. I couldn't find any social media other than a post on Twitter that shouts out Neptune Medusa. But yeah, so I couldn't find any social media, but make sure to check out the listing if you feel so inclined to do so. Great job. I applaud you, Neptune Medusa. You did an amazing job. Keep up the good work. Okay, getting right into the final listing of this video. The artist that I commissioned for this listing is Juliet_art on Fiverr, and this listing was $150. I ordered the commission on August 14th, and I received it on August 19th. This listing is different than the other two, not only in price, but also in the fact that it's not an illustration. This listing is a 3D render of RTRadical. What you're seeing on screen now isn't the completed render, but rather what the model looks like. I gotta say, I really like this. It has pupils, which I don't usually include when drawing RT, but I made an exception this time around with this. She even specifically asked me if I'm okay with the pupils. I said it was fine because it matches her art style, and she wanted the character to be more expressive. I don't think the final product would look as good as it does. I mean, it still looks amazing. It would still look amazing without the pupils included, but I think it definitely has a level of character because of them. I really like how the bridge on the nose is modeled, and I'd say the hair, while being short in length compared to the way I've been drawing RT recently, it does look really good. I like the shape and everything, and it's a difficult thing to include in a 3D space, so I can definitely see the challenge that was posed with doing RT's hair. So I think she did a great job translating that over. So, moving on to the final rendered model. She included a glowing background, which was used in the original image. It's more subtle in this, but I like it nonetheless. It's simple, and eyes are very detailed and intricate. I really like how the eyes in particular turned out. And yeah, the hair is like, it's not a flat texture, like it's textured. You can tell the different gradients and stuff, but I like how has like no hairs protruding out. I thought that she'd go that route, making the hair very detailed, but it's very cartoonish, and it almost reminds me of mid to late 2000s Nintendo, before they started going the super realistic route with Super Mario Odyssey. It fits the cartoonish nature of the character, and I just can't help but feel that it reminds me of that era of Nintendo. Now, I like a lot of things on this. I mean, obviously, it's a 3D render, so it has the advantage of being a lot more textured in nature compared to, say, a drawing. I mean, the skin, you can see the skin follicles zooming in, and on the collar of his jacket, you can see the intricate clothing detail, the cloth detail on there, and scarf as well. It's a bit out of frame. You can't really see the scarf that well, but yeah, I think it looks great. And it definitely matches the original pose. It looks similar enough, like it was based directly off of that image, and that was the main reference image that I gave her to use. So, I'll put Juliet Art's stuff on screen for you to see now in case you want to check it out. And thank you so much for watching this video. I really like the way things turned out. All three of these artists did an amazing job, and you get exactly what you expect from these price points, but even above and beyond that. So, this has been RTRadical. Have a nice day. I never know how to end these videos. I love you.